Imagine living on an island that holds one of the highest densities of volcanoes in the world, where one volcano is still active. Join me as we discover the stories of Camiguin, the island born of fire.
This was not swallowed up by the debris of the volcano, but somehow it was burned.
Wait, underwater entire Camiguin?
Oh, yes.
Wait, what?
Wala Camiguin Island before. Underwater na siya.
History is important. It connects us to our past and it reflects who we are.
Dito dati sila nakatira. Pero wala talaga exact address na kasi matagal na silang umalis dito. Just north of Mindanao, in the middle of the Bohol Sea, rises Camiguin, a small island born from underwater eruptions millions of years ago. The second smallest province in the Philippines has 14 volcanoes, more than twice the number of its towns. For centuries, eruptions have reshaped its land and its people's lives. One of the most devastating eruptions happened in 1951, when Mount Hibok-Hibok forced many people to leave the island. And I wonder, after everything this island has endured, how did Camiguin survive and become what it is today? To understand its story, I spoke with a historian, someone who spent years studying the island's past. And what I learned changed how I see Camiguin. Camiguin really has a very beautiful story.
Stories here in Camiguin province are so enormous. The travel of the earliest peoples here in Camiguin is dynamic, vibrant. They come here, have a family, so if they desire, they will also go back to their ancestral place where they were born.
So migrants. Long before the Spaniards arrived in this island was already alive. Early settlers were linked to the Manobo communities from Agusan del Norte, province of Mindanao. The early inhabitants of these islands were migrants. They came for the fertile land, grew their crops, traded, left, and returned again. Small as it is, Camiguin was a land of abundance. The volcanic soil nourished the earth. Abaca, coffee, cacao, rice, coconut. The island could feed its people. By the time European explorers sailed through the region in the 16th century, Camiguin was already part of active trade routes. Some accounts suggest that Magellan and later Miguel Lopez de Legazpi may have passed by during their expeditions. During the Spanish colonial period, missionaries arrived, churches and schools were built, Christianity took root. You can still see Spanish influence today. In the ruins, in the old structures, even in the character of the towns, and the faith of its people. But the same volcanoes that made the island fertile would also test the people who lived on it. Because in 1871, Mount Vulcan erupted and destroyed the town of Catarman. Some accounts say the ground shifted and part of the land sank into the sea. Others believe the cemetery cascaded down toward the shore. What is certain is this: the eruption changed the land forever. The ruins of the first parish church built by the locals and the cross at the Sunken Cemetery stand as a reminder of the eruption that destroyed the town and claimed countless lives. The people abandoned Catarman. They moved to other towns in Camiguin or left the island. For decades, Camiguin tried to rebuild itself. For years, the volcanoes in Camiguin had been quiet. Homes were restored, farms flourished again. Children grew up without ever seeing the mountain erupt. Life felt steady and safe. Until 1948, the year Mount Hibok-Hibok, one of the largest volcanoes in the island, began erupting again. And on December 4, 1951, at 6:51 in the morning, the volcano erupted, and deadly clouds of ash and rock swept down its slopes. Entire villages within a 5-kilometer radius were destroyed. Homes disappeared. Families were caught with no time to run. Around 2,000 people lost their lives that day. And as if the eruption was not enough, heavy rains fell soon after, turning ash into deadly rivers of mud. Lahars buried more communities and claimed even more lives. Once again, the people of Camiguin faced the same question: do we stay or do we leave? This time, many chose to leave. More than half of the island's population left, unsure if Camiguin would ever be safe again. Among them was the Dagaraga family, the family of my friend's mother. They were forced to leave the island they called home. But their story is not just about disaster. It is about what it means to survive and what it means to carry your home with you, even after you've left it behind.
Kani, nain may kaigsoon.
Okay po.
Elders na siya. Ikaduha ni, ako ang ikatulo. Ikaupat na si Emma. Ikalima, ikaunong si Tita. Si Fi, ikapito. Ika-8 na si Matt. Kamanghura ni si Iba.
9.
9.
Muna'y last photo or first photo nga kuan mo.
Kami tanan.
Kompleto mo.
The inspiring story of this family started with Donata marrying Agustin, a man 6 years older than her, in the middle of World War II. They would secretly meet in the jungles, hiding from Japanese soldiers. Between Japanese occupation, resistance, and even volcanic eruption, their love endured. After the eruption of Mount Hibok-Hibok, they fled to Buton City in Agusan del Norte to rebuild their lives. There, they raised their children together, navigating the uncertainties of a new beginning. But their home became more than a refuge for their own family. They opened their doors to fellow Camiguinons, chasing new beginnings beyond the island, offering not just a place to stay, but warmth, hope, and a reminder of home. And decades after the eruption that once uprooted their lives, Donata and Agustin began another chapter. They migrated to Australia to be with their daughter, who had married and built a life there, proving that their love story, once hidden in jungles, would carry them across oceans and generations. But as I heard the story of this family, I couldn't help but wonder, is there anyone in Camiguin who still remembers them? So I went to Sagay, the quiet town where the Dagaraga family once lived. I went there with no idea where their home had once been built. All I had were names, Donata and Agustin Dagaraga. And somehow, I hope those names would lead me to the answers I was looking for.
Dito dati sila nakatira, itong family ng Dagaraga ni Lola Donata. Pero wala talaga exact address na kasi matagal na silang umalis dito. It's been how many decades na? Pero we just ask kung kilala pa ba sila dito, around the area. Mayang hapon, Nay. Mayang hapon. Kaya ako si Shane. Mayang hapon. Oo. Pwede ko mag-interview. Nala ko yung pangutana ba?
Unsa man?
Kanang kaila kag Dagaraga family.
O kana, walay.
Kani nga family.
Liw pa Dagaraga igsuon niya. Ang yang bana igsuon ni April Dagaraga.
Kaila kani Lola Donata Dagaraga. Kaila.
Dando?
Donata.
O di no manang dando. Asawa kani kay manong tarudoy nga Dagaraga.
Tarudoy. Ay tinuod yun di.
Oo. Dito man po nagdako ilanong tarudoy sa butuan.
Really?
Oo. Sila dito yung anak si Aida. O Aida, aning Aida. Si Kuan, si Ibi, si Alin.
So isa ka sa katong mo ato sa ilang balay dito nagpuyo, dito
Dito
nagskwela.
ko nagpuyo sa Dagaraga dito sa Samura Street.
As Lola Neneng shared her memories, you could feel how much those years meant to her. The kindness, the warmth, the feeling of belonging. It has been decades since she last saw the Dagaraga family, but she remembers them as if it were yesterday. Because sometimes the people who help you survive become part of your story forever.
Tagaan ko mga sanila, tagaan ko kwarta. Pinangga man ko nila. Pero nangamatay man sila. Pagkamatay
na sila ipatay.
wala ko nakaanto kay. Pubuli bayag ko. Pero sa ibang masahe, wala nila. Yes. Pangamusta na lang ko diya manang, hindi pa maganda.
And it made me realize that the story of the Dagaraga family is not just their story. It's a story of many who had to leave Camiguin. They left to rebuild their lives somewhere safer, somewhere certain. But just like Lola Neneng, Camiguin never really left them. because no matter how far they went, the island was always there, waiting for them to come home. The story of the Dagaraga family is a story of Camiguin, a story of resilience, of courage, of people who chose to take care of one another, even in the hardest times. It's a story that deserves to be told, not just on this island, but to the world. That's why Mark Smith, the grandson of Donata and Agustin, wants to share his family story.
I want to share my grandmother's history, her early life on Camiguin Island, sedate village life, and finding true love. My Lula endured war, poverty, natural disasters, martial law, and had limited education opportunities to prepare her for relocation to a new country later in life. I hope audiences will embrace this story and learn more about Filipino history and culture as we demonstrate the positive outlook millions of Filipinos maintain despite ongoing challenges and adversity.
Mark hopes that one day he can turn the story of his family into a film, so that what his family lived through will never be forgotten. Today, Camiguin is a thriving province. The small island now welcomes visitors from around the world. Drawn to its waterfalls, white sand beaches, and vibrant underwater life, it is peaceful, beautiful, alive. And yet, beneath that calm surface, the island is still shaped by the same forces that created it. Mount Hibok-Hibok remains an active volcano. But today, it is closely monitored by PHIVOLCS, the agency responsible for tracking volcanic activity across the country. In 1951, when Mount Hibok-Hibok erupted, there was no national system to warn communities. Many did not fully understand the danger they were facing. That tragedy led to stronger disaster monitoring and response systems in the Philippines. Camiguin learned, the country learned. But more than systems and agencies, what truly defines this island is its people. Neighbors look out for one another. Families rebuild together. Care is part of their culture. Camiguin may have one of the highest densities of volcanoes in the world, but that is not what defines it. What defines this island are the people who, despite uncertainty and loss, they kept moving forward. They did not lose hope. They chose to take care of one another, just like the Dagaraga family, because Camiguin was never just an island born of fire. It is community strengthened by resilience, and that story continues.